Meanwhile, in the Nicholson family villa. When Dahlia returned home, the whole Nicholson household erupted with excitement. "Dahlia! You're finally back! I was so worried!" Florence cried out. "Sis! Are you okay? Did they mistreat you in there?" James chimed in anxiously. Florence, James, and the others swarmed her with concern, their faces full of emotion. Ever since they found out Dahlia had fallen into Inspector Sue's hands, they had been terrified, dreading that she might get hurt. They pulled every string they could and poured in a lot of money trying to help, but all their efforts vanished like stones sinking into the sea, completely ineffective. Just when they were at their wits' end, Dahlia had returned on her own. "I'm fine, Mom. Sorry for making you all worry." Dahlia gave a faint smile. She had indeed been frightened today, but thankfully, everything turned out all right, and she came back safe and sound. "This is all that cursed Dustin's fault. If it weren't for him dragging you down, how would you have gotten caught?" Florence complained angrily. "Exactly. That useless scumbag is always up to shady business. Sis, you better keep your distance from him, or you'll get dragged down sooner or later." James added. "Actually, this had nothing to do with him. Someone deliberately framed us," Dahlia explained. "How could it not be his fault? If he were truly innocent, why would they arrest him?" "Right. Of all people, why would they target him specifically? It just proves how shady his character is." Florence and James went back and forth, clearly holding Dustin in contempt. Dahlia could only sigh helplessly. "If you asked me, Matt Laney is the real deal. As soon as he heard you were arrested, he was running around asking for help. Men like him are 1 in a million." Florence suddenly changed the subject. "Yeah, sis. If it weren't for Matt, you probably wouldn't have gotten out at all." James added fuel to the fire. "Matt Laney? Are you sure it was him who helped?" Dahlia was a bit puzzled. "Who else could it be? He's got deep ties with the Huang family. It must have been him who asked Governor Huang to step in and rescue you," James said. "So that's how it is. I thought." Dahlia trailed off. She had been confused when Governor Huang appeared. Judging by Natasha Harmon's reaction, the two didn't seem familiar. Now it made sense. Matt Laney must have asked the Huang family for help. And Governor Huang, being the top of the 3 regional powers, had enough pull to make it happen. "Dahlia, Matt already helped you recover the money you were swindled out of, and now he got you out of the precinct. You've got to thank him somehow. Your cousin's coming back tomorrow. Why not all go out and have some fun together?" Florence suggested with a beaming smile. "Maybe another time," Dahlia said with a strained smile. Every time Matt Laney was mentioned, a different face surfaced in her mind. The next morning, at the Peace Clinic. "Breakfast's ready." After setting out a hearty breakfast, Dustin called habitually toward the 2nd floor. I'm coming. What's the rush?" After a while, the one-eyed old man hobbled down with his cane. "Hey, brat! Where's the wine?" he grumbled. "Wine in the morning? Just have porridge." Dustin handed over a bowl of lean pork and greens congee. "No wine, no meal." "Forget it, I'm not eating." The old man tossed his cane aside and threw a tantrum. "Fine, don't eat." Dustin wasn't fazed and began eating by himself. Seeing the steamed buns and fried dough sticks quickly vanishing, the old man couldn't hold back anymore. "Damn! You really don't hold back at all." Grumbling, he snatched some food and began devouring it. "Here, this is a premium 500-year-old ginseng. Keep it safe." After finishing his meal, Dustin pulled out a sandalwood box and placed it on the table. "Oh? You sure move fast. Already found another rare medicinal herb?" The old man looked pleasantly surprised. "Still need 4 more, but I should make it in time," Dustin said calmly. "Don't push your luck. Just let fate take its course." The old man replied indifferently. Someone like him was already living on borrowed time. As the two were eating, a silver Bentley suddenly stopped outside the clinic. The door opened, and a stunningly elegant woman stepped out gracefully. "Whoa! This girl's hot, big chest, nice curves, definitely good for bearing children. Hey brat, since you're divorced already, why not marry her?" The old man chuckled lecherously. "Shut up!" Dustin glared at him, then quickly got up. "Miss Harmon, what brings you here? What, not happy to see me?" Natasha Harmon smirked. "Of course not. Please have a seat." Dustin quickly pulled out a chair for her. This must be the famous old wine, right? I heard you're fond of liquor. I didn't bring much on my first visit, just these 2 bottles of vintage Malthai. Natasha smiled as she placed the bottles on the table. Good, good. Wine's all I need. A cup of good wine is worth more than gold. The old man grinned from ear to ear. He had been craving wine, and now he could finally indulge. If you like it, I'll bring you wine every day, Natasha offered with a sweet smile. Ha! Little beauty, you're way more considerate than that Dahlia girl, the old man beamed. Hey brat! You'd better treasure a woman like this. Go drink your wine already. Dustin shot him a look. All right, I'll take it upstairs. You lovebirds enjoy your time. The old man carried the bottles and happily waddled upstairs. Miss Harmon, don't mind him. That old guy's never been educated, Dustin said, scratching his head. I think he's got a point. What, you disagree? Natasha raised an eyebrow. Nope, Dustin replied immediately. Good. She grinned triumphantly. By the way, I ran around all night for you yesterday. My legs are sore. How do you plan to thank me? How about I treat you to a meal? Dustin offered tentatively. How stingy. Natasha rolled her eyes. Then, how would you like me to thank you? Dustin asked uncertainly. Here. Natasha didn't answer. She simply closed her eyes and pointed at her luscious red lips, a clear invitation for him to come claim his reward. Seeing Natasha Harmon close her eyes and purse her lips in a charming, seductive pose, Dustin couldn't help but pause for a moment. What's wrong with your mouth? Is it hurting? What nonsense! I'm asking you for a kiss, Natasha said with slight annoyance. Huh! The corner of Dustin's mouth twitched. That's probably not a good idea. Fine, don't kiss me then. But if you miss this chance, there won't be a next time. Natasha smiled flirtatiously. You brat! A man who doesn't take advantage of an opportunity is worse than a coward. Upstairs, a one-eyed old man sighed while peeking through the railing. Shut your mouth! Dustin turned and glared at him, but when he turned back and looked again at Natasha's flawless face and cherry-like lips, he suddenly realized he might have just missed something important. All right, enough teasing. Time to get serious. Natasha changed the subject. A bunch of our Harmon Pharma's core staff were just poached by Edwin Hummer with high salaries. Now we're short a leader to rebuild the team. You've got exceptional medical skills. Why don't you be our honorary chief physician? I'm afraid I'm not qualified. Dustin gave a bitter smile. Healing patients was fine, but leading a team? He had no experience in that area. Actually, you don't need to do much. Just help oversee things now and then. If you really don't want the role, just lend your name for now. I'll replace you once I find someone suitable. Seeing Dustin hesitate, Natasha put on a pitiful expression. If you won't help me, I'll just have to sit back and watch Hummer crush Harmon Pharma. With things said to this extent, Dustin couldn't very well refuse. He could only nod. All right. I'll give it a try. I knew you'd help me. Natasha instantly lit up with joy. Come on, let's go home. We'll talk about work there. With that, she grabbed Dustin's hand and headed to the car. Half an hour later, at the fragrant garden, Ruth Harmon and her mother, Jessica Duncan, were hosting 2 guests. One was a well-dressed, handsome young man. The other was a white-browed old man in a traditional robe. Aunt Jessica, the young man spoke first. To be honest, I came here for 2 reasons. One is to investigate the matter of the mole. The other is to help my cousin secure control over Swinton's pharmaceutical market, laying the groundwork for the family's future. With you helping, things will be much easier for Natasha. Jessica smiled faintly. But you also know her temper. She doesn't like others meddling in her affairs. This was a decision made by the family. I had no choice. Of course, as long as she doesn't do anything that harms the family's interests, I won't interfere with any of her decisions. Mason Harmon replied calmly, sipping his tea. Humph. Easy for you to say. Ruth muttered under her breath. You're just here to spy on my sister. Natasha's engagement with Tyler Grant was approaching, and the family headquarters had sent someone to monitor her, just in case. Oh right, I heard recently that Edwin Hummer not only poached key staff from the company but also stole the formula for the Bailing pill? Mason suddenly changed the topic. There is some truth to that, Jessica replied calmly. But I believe Natasha can handle it. The bailing pill was a result of years of Harmon research. It was supposed to be our trump card in dominating Swinton's pharmaceutical market. Now, with this problem, the headquarters is very displeased. So, they've sent an expert to help. Mason gestured to the white-browed elder beside him. This is Master Wang, an unparalleled authority in pharmaceutical research. From now on, he'll serve as Harmon Pharma's chief physician. Just as he finished, a cold voice echoed from the entrance. Mason Harmon, the position of chief physician has already been filled. There's no need to bother Master Wang. As the voice rang out, Natasha entered confidently with her arm linked through Dustin's. Huh! Mason frowned at their intimate posture. He had already heard rumors about Natasha keeping a toy bull. Seems they were true. If this got back to the Grant family, it would surely affect the arranged marriage between the two families. Natasha, why did you bring him here? Jessica frowned slightly. This is my house. I can bring whoever I want, Natasha said calmly. As for the position of chief physician, I've already made my choice. It's Mr. Dustin here. What? Everyone was visibly stunned. Natasha, you're not joking, are you? Jessica was clearly displeased. What qualifications does he have to be the Harmon family's chief physician? Dustin has outstanding medical skills and a deep knowledge of pharmacology. I see no problem with appointing him. Natasha was very assertive. You're being ridiculous. Jessica's temper flared. All right, stop arguing. Let's all sit down and talk this through calmly. Ruth quickly stepped in to defuse the situation. Dustin, let me introduce you. This is my mother, whom you've met before. And this is my cousin, Mason Harmon. Hello, Aunt. Hello, Mason. Dustin nodded politely, neither humble nor arrogant. So, you're the little gigolo clinging to Natasha? Mason gave Dustin a condescending look, as if staring down at an ant. That superior attitude made Dustin frown slightly, but he quickly composed himself. I asked you a question? Cat got your tongue? Mason raised his chin arrogantly. Mason, I'm not sure what you're talking about, Dustin replied, keeping a neutral tone. You don't know, or are you just pretending? Mason snorted. Fine, let me change the question. Did you kill Aunt Lon? Yes, but... Dustin had just started to explain when Mason interrupted. Good. Since you admit it, this becomes simple. Aunt Lon was a backbone of our family. She can't just die without reason. As he spoke, Mason pulled out a memorial plaque and set it on the table, looking down at Dustin. Now, kneel before Aunt Lan's memorial and apologize. Huh! Dustin's brow twitched. If the earlier behavior was just disdain, this was outright humiliation. Did you misunderstand something? That Aunt Lon you mentioned was a traitor to your family, and even tried to assassinate Miss Natasha. Was I not right to kill her? Dustin asked. Whether she deserved to die is not for you to decide. Mason pressed relentlessly. Even if Aunt Lon was a traitor, it should have been up to our family to deal with her. Who do you think you are to meddle in Harmon affairs? Hearing this absurd reasoning, Dustin couldn't help but laugh. He risked his life to eliminate a traitor, and instead of gratitude, he was being punished? Such blatant ingratitude was truly something new. Fine. Let's not waste time. Out of respect for Natasha, if you kneel and apologize, I might let you go, Mason said proudly. To him, Dustin was just an ant. He could crush him however he liked. And what if I don't kneel? Dustin replied flatly. You won't kneel? Mason sneered. Then I'll break your legs. You're welcome to try. Dustin's eyes narrowed, a chilling glint flashing through them. Humph! Toasting with refusal? Then drink the forfeit. Mason slammed the table and was about to strike. Bang! A teacup shattered at his feet. Natasha took a step forward, her aura fierce. Mason Harmon! If you dare lay a finger on Dustin, I'll break your legs myself.
And just can't accept it. This can't be the end yet. You promised to never leave, and now you're gone. Can't believe I can feel the world slipping away as you slowly fade from my everyday. You promised But now I'm left broken, struggling to mend. I thought we were so tied, destined for a lifetime. Love with no end. Love with no end. Staying in my imagination, memorizing the past time, the secrets, the love, the care. Now there echoes in the air. I still see your face in every place, feel your warmth, your gentle grace. But now there's just an empty space, and I'm lost in this endless chase. Keeping you in my heart, a piece of you I'll never